Alrighty, continuing chapter 1. The two cases that are there talk about the obstruction of um, a tangible object. Okay, it talks first of a real tangible object, which is a fish, where Yates decided to throw over she decided to throw over a um, what was it? The fish. Uh, it was a grouper. It was less than 20 inches long, and so what happened is that one of the cops went ahead and or the policeman that had been deputized to go ahead and do this and to review, excuse me, the boat. Um, Said, okay, this is found. They had it hanging there. It's a tangible object because it's something they can see and feel. It was there. The error, of course, was the fact that um, he didn't find her right there and then, and he didn't take the fish. He went ahead and left it on her boat. So what did she do? Threw it overboard, saying, "Okay, how can you go ahead and say that I had this when there's no tangible evidence of the fix that it was there?" So um, the statutory law that was being used was talking about documents. Does it cover a fish? Yes or no? So the justices went ahead and looked at it to say, wait, does it happen? Yes or no? Does it cover this? Does it not? Um, should it cover it? And um, they were talking about records. They were the different justices were talking about that. Um, the the basis of this was that most of the justices were saying that this is a noun and it doesn't cover fish. Documents and fish are two different things. And one of um, the justices decided to dissent because of the interpretation of the rules of destruction of evidence and or documents. Now, the second one talks about how this person had literally done that, had it was called a drive scrubber, and they tried to get rid of all of the emails that were there. Um, the intention was found that they were trying to get rid of um, the email that was found that what they were trying to do is go ahead and find out all these email because of some of the problems that were going on as far as um, um, what was it, because of a bid rigging for with Dell. So they were looking at that, and the thing is though is this where is it email? It's not something that's tangible until you print it out. So they decided that yes, this is what he was trying to do, um, based on what was there. So is this allowed? Yes or no? Can this happen? The difference was the fact that with Yates, the proof does not connect with Catkiss because of the destruction of emails, even though the person Yates threw the fish over, and this one used a scrubber to try to delete email. Um, the experts decided that the scrubber would have to automatically be destroyed, would not have automatically destroyed the emails because they were in an exchange folder to free up the space. So um, the case was dismissed because of the fact that there was no evidence connecting with the missing records um, and Katka's, meaning she was not trying or he was not trying to intentionally cover up anything that's going on or the investigation. When we're talking about jurisprudence here, we're talking about the fact that um, what we're talking about is the theories or values that goes into the definition of law. Um, there's a natural law, there's a positive law. The natural law goes ahead and talks about the human rights. Okay, it does not violate principles regardless of the laws. Then there's Holmes talking about the life of law, the experience that is there. There's a social contract where the law reflects the desires of the society for interaction, where it's not just a law that's going to protect everybody, just one person, but also the entire individuals. You're talking about the sources of law as well, where you get the U.S. Constitution, federal legislative enactments, administrative regulations, state constitutions, state legislative enactments, state administrative regulations, county ordinances, city or borough ordinances, and then private law. Court decisions are the ones that go ahead and change or amend the law. Constitutional, of course, um, law constitutions are not statutes because they cannot be amended, uh, added to, amended, or repealed, as some with some states. Constitutions are law of the people. Okay. Um, Congressional law, of course, is responsible for the law at the federal level. It's passed by Congress and become part of the U.S. Code. We have executive orders that the president goes ahead and says, this is what's going to happen, that's going to happen. Um, and it's with the um, branch, executive branch, and federal branch that deal with those matters under the direct control of that. There's federal and administrative, where you have like the EEOC that regulate the human resources areas of equal opportunity for everybody that wants to go ahead and get hired. You have statutory law at the state level. Again, the state codes. For example, the code where Texas decided, hey, if you're caught texting, you cannot be caught texting anywhere, that you're going to get fined. You have to have hands free, period. Um, well, then it decided, okay, it's not just going to be state because so many states were enacting it. The U.S. said, you know what? We're just going to put it into federal law as well. The administrative law are those that are dealing with powers that are given to people. Who gets to do what? How they get to do it. Then the laws of the counties and the townships. Then you have your, as far as the city ordinances of when the city or the county decides that during the weekday, after 10 o'clock, there shouldn't be any loud noises because one, everybody's going to work, or two, everybody's going to, the kids that are going to school. Um, that you shouldn't have nothing too loud, um, that you're only supposed to have so many cats or so many dogs within the city, all kinds of different things. You shouldn't be popping fireworks in the city. People do. You shouldn't be popping fireworks, but that's a city ordinance. Then you also have your private laws between the contract of I sold you this, you sold me that, you're renting this, you're through private law. And then, of course, you have your court decisions that decide, okay, if anything is taken into court, if it is big enough to where it's going to affect a lot of people, then code is changed. We talk about the constitutional again. Here we go. Statutory law. I just went through that. Um, you can go through it and see the cites and the revised statutes, private laws, court decisions. Then we have the course sources here. County by county treaties, bilateral between two nations, multilateral between three or more nations, the Geneva Convention, which is talks about the prisoners of war and how we're supposed to treat them, diplomatic relations, and then air travel as well. You have private law or party law, international law, which is the UN or the United Nations, and then the Act of State Doctrine, which is the exportation of certain laws that are there, taking of private property by the government, confiscation, which right now, the border wall, that's the biggest thing. Do they have the right to go ahead and take some of the private areas that belong to private individuals, or not only that, but those that have been enacted as far as from the state, or that to say that this is now historical or um, protected and sanctioned, like the bird sanctuaries that are out there, the wetlands, things like that. Um, how that all is going to go ahead and end up being, it's a wonderful time right now. Trade laws, tariffs, treaties, NAFTA, the way it was updated again. uniform international laws, um, the sale of goods. Now remember, certain things that we do not allow the sale of here um, does not mean that it's okay with other countries, or that we're okay with other countries types of laws that they have. Um, for example, some of the things that we have here, which is wild, where you cannot ship a lobster if it's pregnant. It's still on the books. I don't know why, but it's there. You can buy live lobsters and they can send them to you, but one of them better not be pregnant. Um, some of the things that are, for example, where in certain other areas, like in China, where they do eat dog, we don't. Um, the sale of that dog meat, if somebody wanted to buy it here, would they be able to do it? Yes or no? The selling of ivory still, that is, people are poaching still, that is still against the law to be able to sell and to get. Um, all of those types of commercial codes that are there to protect our endangered species and also are part of international law. Then you have your European nation, which is a group of companies aiming to go ahead and have barrier-free trade, like the issue that's going on with China right now. OMG. What we're going to do, what we're not going to do, how we're going to do it, what we're not going to do, how it's going to impact our economy, yes or no, um, how much it's going to impact our economy. For example, right now, China is the biggest one that goes ahead and makes plastics. Why is that important to us? Everything we have is plastic bottles, even though we recycle, right? Um, Plastic, everything's there. But we have to have the allowing of uniformity and currency, as far as job safety, immigration and customs, licensing and taxation. Some of the laws that we have here that maybe are not um, applied in different areas, such as those in China. For example, in China, can you imagine where Apple goes ahead and makes China or Japan, one of the two, where they make the Apple uh, um, products, where you have things such as um, they work, I think it is Japan, where they work straight, especially when there's a new phone coming out, where they're working and they're working night and day. They work and they don't get to really spend their money. They're working and going home and then just going back to work. There's no free time. Um, there was a place what was happening at that area that people that were just felt so destroyed and just depressed, where they would go to the top of the roof and they would just throw themselves and commit suicide. Um, well, China decided, and of course, uh, America steps in, the company stepped in and said, hey, you guys need to stop this because we're getting a bad rep because it's Apple products. So, and it was not just with Apple product, but it was other, but they went ahead and they tied it with Apple. And then they decided, you know what, we're going to go ahead and we're going to bar the door so that people can't get to the roof. Well, guess what? They got to the roof anyway. If somebody wants to do that, then that's what's going to happen. So their solution, although it may seem comical, was where they put this huge net on the outside of the building, so that if anybody wanted to commit suicide, they could, but they wouldn't really commit it. They would if they had the intentions of suicide, where they would actually um, fall, be caught by the net, brought back up, and then seen to and help, given some kind of um, um, what's it called? Some kind of assistance. Um, yeah, it's something that you wouldn't think would happen, but they had to do something. They had to do something in order to go ahead and um, one um, make an impact on the brand name where they're trying to help, and of course also try to seriously help these people that are going through this kind of depression because of war. And that's just one, that is there. But we're trying to go ahead and make sure that we, as far as America, is always trying to go ahead and make things a little bit better um, with the purchase of international types of products. For example, another example is Amazon. Well, um, Amazon is a distribution center. So all it's doing is getting things from different areas. Okay. One of the things that was the biggest shock to some women was the fact where you have these ladies that are buying things from um, different places, different portions of the country, uh, or the United, not just the United States, but actually internationally. Sizes aren't the same. Sometimes they were buying things that was just way too big or way too small. Or again, where you have to worry about buyer beware because what may look like a beautiful gown that's going to cost like a wedding gown. If a wedding gown is going to cost $5,000 and you're trying to get it for 15 bucks as a knockoff, you really think that that's going to go ahead and be the exact kind of quality in a wedding dress? Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Very few and far between. Um, so they keep posting this stuff on the net where these women are buying these things, and not just women but men as well, where they're buying these things and when they say, wait, they don't fit, they don't this, and they're all bent out of shape. Well, again, it's buyer beware. You need to do your research. You need to find out that if you're going to buy shoes that are not the same, they don't go by the same measurements that they do with the United States, then you're gonna that's on you. You got to figure it out. Um, and again, if something is too good to be true, it usually does fall into that category. Too good. You're not going to get a $5,000 wedding gown for 15 bucks. Not going to happen. Unless somebody is just disgruntled and is selling you a $5,000 gown because they didn't pay for it and they want to just get rid of it, whatever the case may be. So again, this is chapter 1. These are the cases that are there. I would strongly recommend that you read the book. You do have your assignments that are there. You do have a discussion, and you do have your exam. All of this is due before Sunday at 11:55. If you have any questions concerning your assignments, don't hesitate to contact me. Okay, you know how to get a hold of me. You know what you need to do, and how to get a hold of me there as well. So this is our first chapter, just understanding what law and where it came from. And in the next chapter, we're going to get to the business ethics and social responsibility, um, which means not just the responsibility of us as a society, but also corporate responsibility, which is corporate social responsibility, where a corporation is and what the responsibility is to the place in which they land, or where they're actually um, working, what the responsibility is to the place that's there. Okay, so where they reside, whether it be to provide more jobs or whether it be to boost the economy, what is the responsibility there? All right, but that will be in chapter 2. Again, you know how to get a hold of me if you need to. Please don't hesitate to get a hold of me at all. This is chapter 1, and I'll see you on the flip side.